What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Bearded Dragon video. Rhaegal is starting to grow very, very fast. He is getting that nice fat belly, and he is getting big. But today, we are going to be talking about something different. Today, we're going to be talking about different everyday household items that'll make the Bearded Dragon keeping process a lot easier. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is just a normal hand vacuum. Okay? Now, a lot of people have these around their house, and it's really useful for picking up things in the tank. So you see like those cricket legs and just all those little things in there. You can just use the hand vac to basically clean the tank without having to take everything out and wiping everything down. You can just clear out all the shrapnel really quickly. So now I'm going to show you that in action. So this Bearded Dragon little hack is has to do with the poop and how you pick it up. So I use a plastic bag. I actually saved all the plastic bags that I got from the pet store, and what I do is when he poops, I simply just cut out a little square. This is gonna be hard to do with one hand, but I'll just hold on. Let me just. Not gonna stay. Come on. Okay, so I'll just cut out a little square out of the bag. And then you can actually just use this. So I just take a square like that, and then you can just use this to basically just pick up the poop. You can fold it up and throw it away. It's actually a really simple technique, and you won't have to buy like little doggy bags, stuff like that at the pet store, because those are actually pretty expensive. These, you just get the bags free at the pet store. Whenever I'd get crickets, they would ask me for a bag, and then I just have unlimited for picking up poop. So that's that. Okay, the next item, the everyday household item, has to do with cricket care and keeping. So I keep the crickets in a bag in this little tank just because I don't like having them running around. Maybe eventually I'll figure out a better system here. But for you guys that do keep crickets open in your tanks, you have paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls. Now what this does is crickets are nocturnal animals, so they're going to naturally go for darker areas. So the paper towel roll keeps it dark in that area, so a lot of the crickets will crawl into the paper towel roll, and then what you can do is when you go to take the crickets out to feed them to your bearded dragon, you can just lift up the paper towel roll and there will already be a bunch of crickets in it. So that helps a lot when keeping crickets loose in a tank. It's kind of hard to round them up. Paper towel roll, you can scoop them up with it. And some of them are already being the paper towel roll, so it makes it a lot easier for that. Okay, so we took a little trip to the bathroom for this one. The next item, everyday household item on our list, is a regular little to-go container. Now, I use this for either food or water, but mainly what I use it for is baths for Rhaegal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this hot water going. You want to make the water warm to the touch so that it doesn't shock your beardy. So you want to wait for the water to get nice and warm. And once it gets nice and warm, you're going to want to put your beardy into the container, but you're not going to want to fill it up. You're not going to want to fill it up too much because they're not great swimmers, and sometimes they freak out in the water, and it can turn into a whole thing of problems. Just make sure that when you fill up the water level, it's not too high. It's just right about like at their belly. So this water is now warm, so we can fill it up. I'm going to fill it up to right about like there for Rhaegal. Okay, so now we're going to go retrieve Rhaegal and put him in the bath. There he is. Okay, so let's get him out of here. It's hard to do all of this with one hand. I'm getting used to it though. He looks like he's just chilling right now, so he might not want to come out. Oh, no, he's alright. Good boy. Good boy, Rhaegal. Okay, so I'm just going to drop him right into the warm bath. And then this is what you do. You want to do this about twice a week for your baby bearded dragons, and about once a week when they get older. You know, if your bearded dragon looks like he's like tired and being lazy, give him a nice bath. It hydrates them, and it really gets them up and running. So you just let them splash around in it for a little while. Rhaegal isn't a huge fan of baths, as you could see. He's gonna try to run out and start exploring my room, but usually I have to keep scooping him up and putting him in the bath, so he could at least stay in there for 5-10 minutes. Right, Rhaegal? You don't like staying in your bath. See, he's just going to keep running out. That's what he does. But when it's actually time for bath time, I force him to at least stay in there for 5-10 minutes. He's not a big fan of it, though. So that's what you want to do. Get a nice to-go container, and you can use that for baths. So another household item that can be used in beauty care is a squirt bottle. Now you can use this for a couple of things. One thing I use it for is I give Rhaegal's vegetables a quick squirt every time I put them in there, so there's some water accumulated on them, so when he eats them he gets even more hydrated because he's eating straight up water too. Also, you can use it to squirt your beardy. I usually squirt Rhaegal like once or twice a day. It keeps them hydrated. He doesn't really like it, just like his baths, but sometimes he just has to deal with it so he could stay hydrated and healthy. You want to squirt them like right on the front of their head so it drips down their nose, and then they'll drink a little bit, and then you could squirt their whole body. Just make sure that the water in the squirt bottle, like the bath, is nice and warm to the touch so that you don't put your beardy into shock, because they really will not like the cold water. And also try to avoid squirting the water directly into their eyes. I've heard of some beardies actually liking water being in their eyes, but Rhaegal, I know, definitely does not. So just try to avoid getting water in their eyes. Rhaegal really doesn't like it. He closes his eyes and runs straight for the area right under the basking lamp to warm up. He does not like having water in his eyes. All beauties are different, but try to avoid it because they might not like it. Okay, so the final household item we are going to talk about is happening down... Ooh, hello. It's happening down below the tank. So you see down here, we have my timer set up. Now, this is huge for when you're keeping a bearded dragon, because if you're not home... Well, let me start over. This is huge for when you're keeping a bearded dragon because the lighting situation is very important. You have to have a certain amount of daylight and a certain amount of nighttime for your bearded dragon every day. So you see my lights go on at about 8:15 and they shut off at around 10:15 every single day. Now, if you're away or you're not home to turn off the lights or anything, it turns into a problem. So you're going to want to get timers and hook them up to all of your lights. This way that if you're not home, they automatically go off when they're supposed to. And then your bearded dragon can go to sleep and he'll be on a perfect sleep schedule, rather than you manually turning them off every night, maybe at a different time or at the same time, but it requires a lot less work when they automatically go off. Especially if you're a busy person and you can't always be home at the exact time every night when it's lights out for your beardy. So that wraps up our video today. I hope you got a lot of good information out of this, and make sure to subscribe for more beardy content, and everyone have a nice day.